Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a business, Beautify Face Yoga. So I teach people how to hone their image with face yoga and Ayurvedic Marma massage. I love sharing this information with folks, and I am a leader as well. I love having my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a lot of different projects that I do. And I used to be a big fundraising development person for my children's public school, and I learned a lot about leadership during my tenure there. So I am sharing part three in a series of live videos about leadership. So in the first video, we covered, or in the first live stream, we covered self awareness. If you are feeling like you are not completely self-aware, you're not alone. Many leaders, all leaders actually work on this skill every single day. It's important to hone this skill with self-confidence and just bringing in new information every day about how to be confident, how to be aware of your presence, and also just working on it over time. As we age, we need to be even more self-aware and more relevant in an ever-changing world. The second live stream that I did was about communication. So, honing your own personal communication skills is probably one of the most valuable things that you can do for yourself. You can be your own advocate. You can represent your company. You can represent your, whatever it is that you stand for in the most eloquent of ways. And learning how to communicate begins with self awareness. So, understand your own personal story, understand how you can relate to other people. Then communication comes in. So, we're looking at something that really builds upon itself, the overall leadership landscape. Today, we're going to talk about critical thinking. And at the end of this little chat, I'd love it if you want to share any kind of questions or comments here if you're live. And if you're watching this as a replay, I'd love for you to share questions then as well. So, regarding critical thinking, this is really about your own inner mental landscape, right? It's about how you think, what you think about. But when we communicate with others in an interview, in a sales call, if we are working on a collaboration with someone, the way we think can be shared in our body language and in our spoken language, in our presence per se. So, critical thinking is something to begin really bringing more into your mind's eye, as this is where we begin to merge in our business partnerships, collaborations, new employment, new friendships, whatever it is that you are working on. Critical thinking is where we can intersperse what we know with what is happening in our field and how we can impact our field beyond what kind of any kind of new job we're trying to land. Anything that has to do with us, is all interspersed in here. But really, the impact that you're going to create in your field, the relationships you're going to build, is all structured around critical thinking. So, what does that mean? Like I said, critical thinking is when we are marrying what we know with our field and who we are relating to. So, being able to take what you know and apply it is where we find critical thinking to be relevant. And there are strategies that you can take to leverage your critical thinking skills to impress upon someone that this would be a good partnership, this would be a good collaboration, this would be a great place to merge ideas. So let me give you the tips on how to do this. And then we're going to do a few posture and face yoga poses just to help you hone your impression that you give to someone when that interview, when that conversation, when that coffee comes to pass. So, the first thing that you want to do is when you're thinking about who you're going to be talking to, is to prepare yourself. Take it seriously. This is an opportunity, and every opportunity is finite. You get one opportunity, and then you move on to another one and another one. But taking each one seriously lets the other person know you're starting to interrelate with people. That self-awareness and communication is really about your own personal knowledge, awareness, and skill. But when we talk about critical thinking, we're talking about sharing. So be prepared. Know your stuff. If you are representing a field, know what's going on historically and know what is on trend now. Understand your place in this historical relevance of your field. So for older folks, if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, still in business, hopefully your wisdom is so important. You want to know the historical background of what you represent, and also on trend. Know what is happening now. How has the field changed? What kind of wisdom can you impart upon your clients, the person you're having coffee with, your future employer, to let them know that you know everything about your field, to your best capacity? Be prepared for the meeting. Understand the context in which you will be sharing your knowledge or imparting your special gravitas in your field. Think about that. Think about the coffee. Think about who you're meeting with. Think about how you can leverage the conversation. And as we really move into the next idea, I want to share that this also interweaves in the next topic that I'll share in my next live stream, which is inclusion. So to really be able to communicate with someone, you want to listen. Allow the person that you're meeting with to talk first. Learn from that person. Ask them questions. Take control of the conversation. This is a leadership tactic that is very powerful to achieve outcomes. So if you are in a sales call, if you're in an interview, the outcome that you're seeking is a partnership of some kind. If you're meeting with a collaborator, the outcome is a partnership of some kind. So keep your eye on the outcome and reverse engineer how you're going to get there. And it has to happen in the moment. So this is where your critical thinking is happening. You're not sharing this information with the person you're speaking with, but you're listening to what they have to say. You're understanding where they stand. And you're also thinking, is this actually a partnership I want to make? So it may be such that you are interested, that they're revealing something about themselves, their integrity, or their workplace that is not in line with your values. And then that's a great conversation, right? You know that this opportunity is something that you can shelve until another time. So when we listen, not only do we suss out if this is what we want to do, but we can also understand the person that we're talking to a little bit better and pick up on any language that they have. So when I am talking about their language, I'm talking about keywords, kind of buzzwords that they might intersperse in their language. And what you can do is just take note of that mentally. Take note of that. And then you can intersperse in your language to help them better understand you. So This is something that is incredibly powerful because as our world shifts and changes, we are working with people from all different cultures, all different backgrounds. Even if you look like someone, you don't know what their background is. So, being able to apply critical thinking, what you know, what you're learning from this person, and marrying it together through common language is going to build a stronger relationship initially than one that you could leverage by just espousing what you know. Okay, so we're bridging, marrying the information with the person who's hearing us and noticing what they can absorb through their personal language. So I have some anecdotes to share about this. Let me see. I have a little bit of time, so I'm going to share one anecdote. So in the development work that I did with a very diverse community, for the most part, kind of diverse. There were people from all different cultures at this school. And I was in fundraising. I was the PTA president. And part of my work was to listen to the needs of the community and then figure out how we can work together to achieve the outcomes that were desired by all parties. So that was an act of diplomacy. So you want to also think about this listening skill, this applying the common language as a diplomatic effort. And it won't go unnoticed. This will be something that will help you stand out. So in my development strategy, I was meeting with our new auction chair. I was serving as president. I had been auction chair for a number of years, and I knew what would really make a great, successful, profitable fundraising event. And I wasn't hearing the outcome come up of what we wanted in the language that they were sharing. So I listened, and then I gently suggested that we add a facet to the auction. And it became very clear to me I wasn't speaking her language as I expressed myself. And she didn't understand what I meant. So I paused and then I applied her language, the things that she found to be exciting about this project, because we were all volunteers. There was a lot of money at stake too. We used to raise like $250,000. So when I transitioned and took a step back, using her language to express my ideas, she got it. And she also felt very relevant. She felt like a leader because I had used her language. We bridged and married our partnership to achieve desired outcomes. And that is what I'm talking about here. If there is ever a misunderstanding or the person isn't hearing you, take a moment to regroup. It's okay if people see you thinking. That's great, actually, because it shows that you're able to pivot and shake things up a little bit to get to desired outcomes. And then think about the language that the person used and apply the language to achieve the outcomes that are mutually desired. Okay, so if you want to know more about that, I'm going to put a link below where you can contact me and I can share a little bit more with you about that. I'm happy to do that. So, in using the common language, you want to share when appropriate. So, listening to the other person, no matter if it's a future employer, colleague, collaborator, listening is key. And that's when you can use your critical thinking to show them that you are a critical thinker. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room to be a good critical thinker. Absolutely, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. But being a critical thinker elevates your presence in a way that nothing else can. So sharing when appropriate, when asked a question you want to share, when you are able to interject, intelligently and eloquently, find that place to share only if it's appropriate. So, by allowing yourself to take these pauses to think before you speak, you're able to make a greater impression on the person that you're meeting with. So, prepare, know your stuff, know who you're talking to. I keep getting little messages here. Pay attention and listen to your colleague, your future employer, person that you're meeting with, and use common language to express yourself. So pick up on the buzzwords, pick up on how they explain things, and repeat it back to them when it's appropriate. So use common language, share when appropriate. Now, let me show you a couple things. Oh, we have plenty of time here. I want to show you a couple of things that can really create an impact in your meeting. So one of the things that you want to do that speaks volumes, like so much is assessed by anyone who is wanting to work with you or wanting to hire you, is your level of confidence. How can you bring your confidence, your sheen, your delight to their organization? The first piece of language that you share before you talk is your posture. So I want to ask you, how does this look? Like if I come into a room, slumping down, looking down, it's not very attractive. It's not attracting. But to raise your shoulders, pull your shoulders back, and allow the chest to jut forward, it naturally lifts up your head. It makes you appear more confident, right? Like you own your space, your personal space. It also immediately makes you look more attractive, more youthful. It immediately, if you're slumping forward here, I'll show you. If you're slumping forward, your belly naturally pooches out to accommodate the lower back. So when you stand tall, you actually look a little bit slimmer, right? Like you just look more confident. And by rolling the shoulders back, opening the heart, on a spiritual level, you show some vulnerability as well. You're not as guarded. You're not putting up any walls physically by moving the shoulders forward. So roll your shoulders back, show who you are, and be confident. The next thing that is important, we're great on time here, is your smile. How are you representing yourself? Are you frowning, showing, oh yeah, I'm listening? Because this looks like you are suspecting something. This isn't helpful to your position. But by having an open face of joy and delight in being here and being alive with open eyes, the person you're talking to immediately knows that you are present with them, while you also have all this other critical thinking going on. You're collecting language, you're marrying the language with your own thoughts and creating something really special. So I want to invite you to think about this level of leadership as a canvas for you to create a dynamic, special encounter for not only the person you're with, but for yourself. Make every minute count in your life, even these meetings that may only seem like a pathway to something else. Guess what? It is a pathway to something else. It's an opportunity. So seize the opportunity to let the person that you're with know that you are here with them. You're here with them. And some gestures that you can take are, keeping your hands together, open, really opening up the whole body. So I want to invite you to just think about your smile for a minute. I want to just ask you just a moment. Take a look in the mirror. What smile are you projecting? So I'm actually seeing myself on the screen here. You might see my eyes go down. I might be looking out the window for a second just to adjust my vision. But I see myself, and I used to smile like this. And this is stressful. It creates tension in the neck, and that people may not even understand that. They may not even know what I know about facial structure, tension, but they feel the tension. It's a feeling and a chemistry. And that's another level of the meeting that if you can hone that, you are going to marry every opportunity that comes your way. And in the next live stream, we're going to talk about inclusion, and so powerful in the world that we're in today. And you are going to just take everything to a new level for yourself. It's going to be awesome. So back to the smile. They feel the tension. They feel the energy. I feel that, and I automatically want to make people feel comfortable. Oh my gosh. I think in my head, how can I make this person feel more comfortable? If I see someone going, I feel like they're judging me, and I automatically want to make them feel more comfortable. What about you? How do you take those things? Maybe you take them a little differently than me. I'd love to learn. I'd love to hear. Okay, so one thing that you can do to relax your smile, this is something I haven't shared online yet, but here we go, is you can take your index fingers, bring them to the sides of your nose, and gently lift, depending upon where your cheekbones lie. They may be above the nose, they may be a little bit lower than those. Mine lie about at the nose with a little bit under, and you can gently create a release of tension. You want to do this before you meet with someone, by the way, but practicing this as part of your preparation, which was the number one thing to do to hone your critical thinking skills before you meet with someone, is to lift and find these cheekbone muscles, and then gently lift the cheekbone muscles up and smile using these muscles. So this helps you to find the muscles and relax your smile. So when you find these muscles, not only are you toning these cheekbone muscles, but we are finding them. And then you can lift your smile and uplift everyone around you. So today we talked about a recap of self-awareness, communication, and critical thinking, which includes preparing yourself for conversations in your field, paying attention to what other people are saying, and thinking about outcomes and reverse engineering your communication, including language that the other person uses, as well as sharing when appropriate. And then you can use these lessons in posture and refine a relaxed smile to create an open face that is someone that we want to work with. You are attracting energy and not repelling it. So I'll put when my next, I'm not exactly sure when I'm able to do it, but the next live stream will be about inclusion. including others. And this is super important right now as our world is more diverse. There are all kinds of issues in our modern world around inclusion. So really honing this next skill will really elevate your leadership. Thank you so much for being here today. You can go to learn more holistic tips and tricks at beautifyfaceyoga.com. And you can message me here if you want to hear more anecdotes about how to collect language to intersperse in your own to achieve outcomes, goals, and really elevate your world. Thank you so much for being here and have a great afternoon. Bye.